Zangetslow!
Hey, welcome to Dark Souls. I'm Xander. Today I'm talking about Ichigo and a special technique of his, the Zangetslow. What does this poorly made term mean? Well, it refers to a sequence of two of Ichigo's special moves. The first one being Zangetsu, quarter circle forward plus any attack button. The second being Angetsuzan, half circle forward plus any attack button. For easiness sake, I'm calling it slow because that's what Ichigo says when he uses the move. This sequence specifically uses the heavy, reinforced version of Zangetsu and the light version of slow. Using this technique will cost you one reinforced bar, that's this little frame down here. It will also eat up a flash step, that's the yellow bar, if you happen to have one in stock at the same time. Now that I've given some background info, how exactly do you set this up? It's all a matter of spacing. If you're too close, you won't get it. If you're too far, you won't get it. You need to be just right. And thankfully, there are a lot of sweet spots for characters that this does work on. I should mention, this does not work on everybody. This is not a universal technique. There are exclusions. A lot of them. You would not know that from most Dark Souls combo videos because most of those combos are done on Kyoraku. Everything works on Kyoraku. That guy is huge. I found it on Yoruichi first, that's why I'm using her in training mode. I did later test it with all 44 characters, and these were my results. So let's talk about them. First off, the no category. This technique doesn't work on 23 characters in the roster. There are various reasons why it may not work on characters. Some characters get hit too high, some characters get hit too low, some characters are too far away, some characters are just immune, some characters are Ichigo, some characters are women. I guess you could say it just depends on their hurt boxes, but it doesn't work on them, that's all that matters. On to the yes category. There are 16 characters in this category and they all share the same setups. It doesn't matter if they're standing or crouching, these setups will always work on them, which is good. Some things of note, the standing and dashing setups are assumed to be done point blank and raw, meaning they are beginning a combo. The flash step and toward air flash step starters are assuming you are continuing a combo. There's also a very large assumption that after toward air flash step, you are using jumping, medium, and heavy to continue your combo. It's the only way you are guaranteed to follow up with these starters. These were done on standing opponents. They can be done on crouching opponents, it's just more strict. One last thing to mention, although most of these setups are consistent, there are a few exceptions. For example, LM5H in the dashing section does not work on Yoruichi when she's standing and will not work on Gin at all. But Gin is quirky like that. Speaking of, the quirky section. This is a subset of the yes category, but I had to make this more unique because these 5 characters each have really specific setups. You're limited to about 1 or 2 options per character, and if you don't use those options, you will never land this technique ever. Hitsugaya is probably the least quirky of these 5. 2LM works, but it's kind of inconsistent. There's like a weird timing to it, and that's annoying to deal with. If you add one more 2L though, suddenly it's perfect. Also, you can just spam 2L, and that works both standing and dashing, which is funny. You may notice in the flash step section that you only need 3 crouching lights for it to work instead of 4. This is because on the quirky characters, it's a little bit different when you're actually continuing a combo with a flash step. Because the characters are being pushed back, most of these standing setups that you would do raw don't work when you're continuing the combo. Unless, of course, you switch sides. Then it works fine. But that's why these flash step setups are going to be a bit different. Usually variations on the original standing setups. Because they assume that you are not switching sides. If you do switch sides, either mid-screen or in a corner, then you can use the standing version just fine. Rangiku is a bit quirkier, but she still has some options. You're going to want to be side switching with her a lot more. Soifun has the same standing setups as Rangiku, except you have to do them dashing. These 3 characters share the same toward air flash step setup. Crouching light, crouching medium. But you gotta get a feel for it. After a bunch of practice, either you get it or you don't. Kisuke and Nemu are really quirky. Kisuke has 3 setups. 2 of them only work if he's standing. One of them only appears to work if he's crouching. And it's not really consistent, so it doesn't really count, but it's still here. Nemu only has 1 setup. It is consistent, but it's the only one. Dash up, light, standing heavy. You have to be really up in her face to get it to work, but it works. Okay, so you know how to do it and you know who to do it on. Now what? Let's say you start the combo raw, you do the technique, now what do? If you want to keep the combo going, you'll have to start running. Assuming you're facing right, you'll have to tap right twice to start a run. Don't hold it, you won't need to. Then, while you still have the momentum from your run, use either crouching medium or standing heavy. If you're starting from all the way in the corner, use 2M. Anywhere closer, even the tiniest bit closer, use 5H. I would still suggest using 2M in some situations where you can still see the corner, but 5H will still work. After that, you can just keep looping 5H and slow for as long as you like, until the opponent bursts out, or until you have enough meter to finish the combo. Trust me, you will have enough. The meter build on this loop is enormous. You'll probably have a full super bar by your 5th loop, so just keep that in mind whenever you want to finish. But how exactly do you finish the combo? Right now the opponent's in the air, you're still doing the loop. You could just do the loop one more time and end with a super. But there is an alternate way, a better way. A restand. Using a well-timed grounded move, Ichigo can put the opponent back on their feet in a grounded state. This allows him to use a more damaging ender sequence. I'd say the most consistent restand move is standing medium. Follow that up into 5H towards air flash step and you've pretty much got your ender sequence right there. Then you can run up and do light, medium, heavy, special, super. Of course, you don't have to use super. If you want to save your meter, you can end with an air combo instead. But from a restand, you can end with pretty much any option you want, be it air combo, Getsuga Tensho, or even Bankai. You're pretty much guaranteed to do half health on half of the roster with this technique. Well, that's pretty much all you need to know. Join the Treasure Fighters Discord, join the Dark Souls Discord. We have fun in those places. Anyways, next video. Baby's first Bankai loop.